Hello, hello, hello. Hello. How you doing? I hope you're well. Happy Friday. So I said last week, I think, was it last week? When I showed you the proof copy ta-da, of my new book, I said I'd come back and show you how many little stickers ended up being on it. And someone has asked me to share what issues you tend to find. I think they are writing a book, and I think what they are hoping is that I get to make all the mistakes so that they don't have to. And I am happy to share what mistakes I make so they don't have to. But I got news, and it's not good. Order a proof copy and check it before you release your book. That's all I'm going to say. Order your proof copy and check it before you release the book. The thing about the proof copy, you can read it like a million times on your screen. You can read it on your e-reader. I read mine on my Kindle. Every draft I send to my Kindle and read it through on that. So you would think that I would catch everything because I must have read it about 60 million times. But no, as you can see, there is still a load of mistakes. There is nothing like having the print copy in your hand to help you find mistakes. Also, when it comes to formatting and like the layout on the page, the only way you can see that is when you see it in your hands. Okay, you can look at the print previewer on the screen and the PDF previewer in 2-page mode, so you can sort of see how it will look as a book. But there's nothing like seeing it live. The other way that you catch all of your mistakes is publishing. Instantly you find 6 million more mistakes that you missed. So look, I'd love to tell you there's a shortcut to this shiz, but I haven't found one. So maybe getting someone else to do it is better at this stuff than you are. But things still get missed. You know, I've got books, excuse me, frog in my throat, published by big publishers that have got mistakes in. So things get missed. So the first thing is, if your proof copy ends up with loads of little stickers, don't worry about it. It's just life. But I did say that I would go through them and just show some things. So the first one, I'll just show what the mistakes are, and they're all kind of piddly little things, but I just hadn't noticed them before. This one I actually had noticed and I thought I'd fixed, but obviously I didn't. There's a list there. I don't know if you can see that. Can't see it very well, I don't think. Oh, no. The the screen here is like, the preview for me is like this big. It's really not helpful. Let me just see if it's bigger on the other one so that I can see better. Oh, it is bigger on the other one. So, okay, can you see that? The light's shining on it. You can't really see it very well. Anyway, it's a list. And basically, there was a space missing after the dash and before the text on there. So not a huge deal. Probably no one else would have noticed it. But of course, I noticed it the minute I got my hands on this thing. This one was something that I'd missed out that I thought was in there. But it's sort of in there later in the book. But I wanted it to be there too. So it was just adding like 4 words. What was that one? Oh, missing comma. Like, honestly, most of these things no one would know and no one would care, but once I've noticed them, I can't do it. This one, the what's it called? Menopause brain. The bit at the bottom, the footnote, that's the chap. The footnote, I had a resource that was on my old website and I hadn't moved it to my new website. So I put in the old website address, but the old website crashed about 18 months ago and all the media files got wiped because my backup had the main blog stuff but didn't have the images or the files. So this was absolutely useless and I just hadn't realised. So I've changed that now. It's now in the resources page. that one? Oh, that one was, it's another list. And basically what I'd done was put the title of the list as number 1, and number 10 of the list wasn't part of the list at all. So it should have been the other way around. What's that one? That's the footer again. With looking at it as well, when you see the footer, you're like, that text is quite big. So I've changed that. The other thing is when you're making changes to your proof copy, just be aware that every change that you make in a physical copy can impact all the pages after it and how they line up. So it just can. If you add too much or take too much away, it just can. So you need to be really diligent about checking your PDF and your print previewer every single time you make a change, because things just change. I used Atticus. It's a bit of software, and the whole point of it is to have this. If you've got a Mac, Vellum does the same thing and apparently is very good. I don't have a Mac, I'm not that posh. So I thought I'm going to give Atticus a try, because Word made me want to scream and poke out my eyes with a rusty fork. Doing the formatting in Word is really, I don't want to scare you, but good luck. To be fair, if you haven't got footnotes, if you haven't got anything complicated, it's not too bad. But I just found it brain achingly, screamingly frustrating. So I hated it with a passion. So I thought, you know what, it's worth investing in this software to do this. Now, this software is better than Word, but there are still, and I will say they're my teething problems, because it's the first time I've used it. And I don't really know how it works. So I didn't know about the size of the footnote. The font, I think I said last time I don't like it. So I've changed the font. So if you change things like that, you're going to change the number of pages in your book. If you change them too much, you'll end up having to redo your cover, because it's, centered so that your title and what have you is down the spine. So just be careful, man. Be careful, man. This, I just felt like that bit needed to be in the box as well. Hadn't thought that any other time I'd looked at it, the last 500 times I'd looked at it, but this time I did. This one was a weird one. It's basically the word joy was cut in two, with the J at the end of at the end of the page, the side of the page, and oi underneath it. And I was like, what the actual ever living F is going on here? Again, teething problems with Atticus. That was about text wrapping and justifying and the use of hyphens. I've now taken out the use of hyphens, so it can't hyphenate things and do that. So that was something else to learn. The great thing about Atticus is if I ever write another book, which right now I'm never writing another book in my fucking life, but if I ever write another book, the template for my formatting is there. So it will format exactly the same as this one. And I shouldn't, touch wood, have to change any of the settings. So yeah, that was just a teething problem thing. What was the problem there? Oh yeah, there was just a random line, look. Can you see that? Just a random bit of space. No idea. Didn't notice it in looking at the PDF or in the print preview, but when I got it, there it was. So no idea why that was there. Couldn't change that because it wasn't there anymore, because I changed the font, so therefore that changed everything. It's all very complicated. The next thing, I just felt like I put a little link. You can't see that because of the light. I put a link to a page called But You Don't Look Sick, or a website called butyoudon'tlooksick.com, which talks about spoon theory, which for anyone who isn't dealing with a chronic long-term illness is how many spoons you have to get through the day. So we all have so many spoons to get through the day. And a normal person without a chronic illness or without any kind of illness has a lot more spoons and also gets through them less quickly. And it was basically someone was trying to explain to a friend why just getting up getting showered, getting dressed and getting breakfast was exhausting to her. And she explained it with spoons. But yeah, I just put check out the link. And then I was like, no, I think it needs more text. So, for more information about spoon theory, what else have we got? Hows and Whys. I put Hows and Whys with not speech marks. You know, the single speech mark thing. Oh my God, my menopause brain is having a whale of a time today. It's Friday. I had a cold this week. I'm not going to blame the cold. I had a cold this week, so I had a couple of days off, and my brain has obviously gone, oh no, it's all too much. We've had 3 days working. Anyway, I put Hows and Whys with apostrophes. That's the chaps. Oh God, how embarrassing. I'm so sorry. This is welcome to my world, though. If you actually spoke to me in real life, this is how our conversations go. There's 35 million tangents and I can't remember the word for any frigging thing. Anyway, so yeah, Hows and Whys, I used apostrophes and I was like, that's not right. I've got a feeling I took them out and put them back in. I've got a feeling that my editor pointed that out, and I've got a feeling I put them back in again. So never not listen to your editor. That one, it was just a missing full stop. That one, that was the same sort of thing with the list, that I'd put the sort of title of the list or what the list was as part of the list, and it shouldn't have been. Like all these things that you just don't notice. And then there was something I wanted to italic, and that was it. So as you see, it's all sorts of stuff. I wish I could say to you, oh yes, well, it's always this sort of thing. Well, it's all sorts. It's lists, it's footnotes, it's often like lists and footnotes, because what happened with those lists is in Atticus, it had quite wide spacing. I think I showed you last week that the spacing on this is quite wide. I've made it smaller. So because of that, the lists were like, I've got lists with like 100 things on. They were going across 15 pages. I was like, that's not okay. I need to change that. So in changing and messing about with all the lists, that's what happens. This is the thing. Every single time you open a document, there is the chance that you will delete a full stop that I'm sure was there, because I would have picked that shit up before and I didn't. So it must have been there before. So I may have deleted it. I may have accidentally deleted a space or added a space in randomly. All sorts of things can happen every single time you open the document and when you're formatting and messing about with it. And this happens especially in Word, because you are trying to sort of place everything. Atticus has made that easier, because it starts every new chapter on a new page automatically. It right aligns everything automatically, so you don't have to put a random blank page in, which I did have to in Word. This might be easier now, because the last time I did this was 8 years ago. So it might be easier now. They might have a better way of doing it. I don't know. I didn't want to try and find out. But this is the perils of formatting for yourself. Anyway, so that's it. So I don't know if that helps at all. Yeah, I think it's just when you get the proof copy, you just see it differently than you do on your screen or on your Kindle. It's as simple as that. And when you get the proof copy, you can see where the chapters line up and where the headings are, and how it all looks better than you can on a screen. So you're going to find problems. So I don't know if that was even vaguely helpful. If it was, yay! If it wasn't, I'm sorry. So I have today ordered proof copy number 2. Yes, progress has been made. I'm a bit scared about this, because I've also set a release date. Yikes! I'm hoping, because the release date is a couple of weeks away, I'm hoping it will all be fine and I'll actually be able to release it a little bit sooner. Touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. That's not wood, is it? It's laminate. Touch wood. I'm hoping that the release date will be the 6th of April or earlier. That's what I'm hoping. but I don't wish to tempt the fates, for the fates are watching and they will strike me down. So it just depends on if there are any issues with the second proof copy. And because if there are, you have to make all the changes again and then get a third proof copy. We don't have to. You know, it depends how careful you want to be and how diligent you want to be at that point, really. And I want to be diligent because I hated with my last two books. I released it and then I looked at a copy and I went, a mistake. I mean, that's going to happen anyway. I went back and found something recently in one of them and I was like, oh, for goodness sake. And again, it was one of those things nobody would notice. And I thought, you know what, I can't be bothered to change it for that tiny thing that no one has picked up on in the last 8 years. Probably no one else would ever notice. But it was like, once I'd seen it. So ideally, I would like the print version to go out as good as I can make it. Fingers crossed. So fingers crossed for proof 2. Fingers crossed for release date of the 6th of April or earlier. Hoping for earlier. And yes, I don't know if you could hear that. I've got a mindfulness app on my phone and it sets a gong off every hour at 20 minutes past the hour to remind me to breathe. And it feels like a really perfect time to just stop recording now. I will say though, of course, that the ebook of Feel Good Foundations is available now on Amazon. You can get it right now. You don't have to wait for the print copy at all. If you want to wait for the print copy, fingers crossed, in the next 2 weeks or so, I will do another video when the second print version drops and let you know what I'm thinking. So hopefully the new font will work and hopefully it'll be okay. And keep your fingers crossed for me and your toes and throw shamrocks in my direction and anything else lucky that you can think of. But yes, you can get the ebook now on Amazon, or hopefully in a couple of weeks' time you'll be able to buy the print version. Unfortunately, even though I have set it up with a release date, you can't pre-order a self-published book from Amazon, which is a real shame. You can pre-order an ebook, but you can't pre-order a print book, but it will tell you that that's the scheduled release date. So fingers crossed. Right, I'm off. Have a lovely weekend, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.